Do you ever go on YouTube and randomly search through the annals, the archives of YouTube, and see a video, and then the title it says brain eating amoeba? And do you not click on it, but you because you think to yourself, that's crazy, that's junk, that's just fake news. There is no way that is real. But then become so fixated on the idea of brain eating amoeba that only a few minutes later you feel the compulsion, the need to search a brain eating amoeba and subsequently create a YouTube video on it to educate the people. Ohayo gozaimasu. Konnichiwa and konbanwa. Watashi wa Kitsune desu. Welcome back to another video. Did you miss me? I miss you. You don't have to cry now. I'm here. There's no need to fear. And today I have an important message for all of you mortals. Okay? And it's about this brain eat amoeba, which is actually not internet junk. It is actually a real thing that exists. Okay, it is a real thing that exists. And if you Google it, there will be a lot of stuff on it. Hopefully, now this video included. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Pretty much today in this video, what I'm going to do for you is summarize everything I learned from my internet research on the brain eating amoeba. Okay, I'm just going to summarize all of it so that you would now know what I know. Okay, so first of all, brain eating amoeba are obviously called brain eating amoeba, but scientifically speaking, they have another name. Let me look at the name because I need to look at the name. I do not have the name memorized. They are called and Naegleria fowleri. Naegleria fowleri. We're going to say brain eating amoeba. They are a very rare disease, a very rare thing to get. Very rare. And most of the cases actually happen in the southernmost parts of the United States. Most of them specifically happen in Texas and Florida. Yep. And those cases always happen in water. Typically warm water, if I'm remembering correctly, typically warm water and always unsanitized water. I mean like water that hasn't been, cleaned, that does not have the chlorine, the beautiful chlorine that we need, but also is dangerous. Anyway, um, you get infected um, you get infected with the disease if you breathe in the water, if the water gets inside of your nose. So basically, you will be in the pool, the unsanitized pool, you will be in the unsanitized whatever watery thing that you are in, as is necessary, or a random lake that you decided to jump in because somebody dared you. Listen, dares are bad. Your brain, they are literally brain rot as proved by this video. But, okay, anyway, I digress. We're here to talk about brain eating. Okay, but basically, you jump in and you get the water up your nose. And what happens is the brain eating amoeba goes up your nose, up your nostril, kind of like a little scenic pathway for the brain eating amoeba. Yes, yes. Very beautiful botanical garden, let's say. Right? And so the brain eating amoeba makes its way into your brain. Now, normally they would not eat brain. Normally they would not eat brain. But they are now in your brain. They cannot leave your brain, I imagine. It's complicated, and why would they? It's very nice and warm in there. Um, so they start eating your brain. They actually, scientifically, some studies have shown that they release, as I read in my research, um, that they actually release two different types of proteins that dissolve the brain tissue, which is how they can actually, quote unquote, eat our brains. Um, there's apparently acid involved. All right, stay away from that stuff. And so the symptoms that result from this dissolving are immediate. Obviously, they include a lot of brain problems. For example, you can become disorientated, very confused, right? And in about a week or maybe 2 weeks, as I recall it, um, you, a lot of people, some people at least, fall into a coma to never wake up again because their brain was eaten. If you missed that, I just want to be clear, you know. Just need to be clear. That's a very important information. But 97, 97% of patients die. So, um, yeah, you need a brain actually. Like, I did read actually about two children who survived this disease, which, you know, if that makes you feel any better, two children survived. But it is important to remember that this disease is very rare. Okay, so when we say 97% of people die from it, that is a lot of people, but at the same time, not a lot of people get this disease. They do not get this disorder. They do not inhale the bad brain eating amoeba. Okay. All right. And so I just thought that before I left you with this wonderful little nugget of information inside of your brain that's going to now eat away at your brain. I would give you some extra fun little facts to go up with that I found interesting. So, first of all, apparently, some people already have antibodies in their body that defend them from this specific type of amoeba. So basically, their bodies are acting like they have already seen this amoeba, already dealt with this amoeba, already know what to do when it comes in, when it appears. Um, which would actually imply that this disease is not as rare as we think it is. On top of that, we have done some scientific studies that show that people we thought had meningitis actually had this disease in the reality. And last but not least, what I thought was perhaps the very most interesting tidbit of information that I learned from this, one of the one of the most interesting extra facts that I learned was that you can actually drink Naegleria fowleri and not get this disease. Your brain will be fine. You can drink them. You can like drink a whole bucket. I and you'll be fine. You'll be fine. It's just the inhaling. It's specifically your nose for some reason. It's specifically your nose knows, So the moral of the story today is don't inhale Naegleria fowleri. Don't get your brain eaten. Thank you. Kitsune out. Stay safe.